Billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
A poor man prayers,
every man bleeds.
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.
Under the Fair Use Act, these videos are for information and educational purposes, and I do not own the rights to any of these videos that are shown. All rights reserved to the original content creators.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy SL550, and this is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. Before we start, make sure you like, share, comment down below. Also, hit that subscribe button because it costs you nothing. Also, hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy go live. Man. Sheesh. Now, listen, all this is factual and allegedly, you heard? But, sheesh. It's crazy, man. Democrats trying to expose Trump end up exposing themselves. But understand something. They don't care. Their whole goal isn't to expose truth because they know what they're trying to do is a lie. They know it is. They know Trump isn't in the Epstein files. They know this, but they're going to keep pushing it because they want the narrative to stay out there. So when these elections come up, they have a better chance of winning these elections. I keep telling you, they don't care about you. They care about your vote. That's it. They need to stay in their positions, right? And so right now they're trying to expose Trump with these emails, these 3 emails out of 20,000. And they don't do a good job. And the emails actually clear Trump. But I already showed on the channel of the lawyers actually clearing Trump. The victim or victims clearing Trump. So, and more importantly, what clears Trump is the fact that Joe Biden's administration had the Epstein files for 4 years. They would have exposed it, been did it, used it to arrest Trump. They made up shit on Trump to try to, bankrupt him, lock him up, all types of stuff. Do you think that if they had actual factual information on Donald J. Trump that they wouldn't have used it? Come on, man. Stop. Come on, man. But anyway, we're going to get into that, man. That's going to be real juicy. Anyway, because it's something in there that is super crazy. And, you're going to hear it and with your own ears. So you can judge on how, you look at it, whether it's true or whether it's not, or it's up to you. You know what I mean? But before we get into that, I gotta build it up. You know what I mean? So we gonna tap in with my guy, the one and only RJ Talks, man. He got to give us the latest and the greatest. So we're going to tap in with RJ Talks. Then we're going to tap in with Brian Maxwell about this whole Epstein situation. And then we're going to end it with Alex Jones on Stephen Gardner played a clip of Alex Jones breaking this whole thing down. So he's going to probably bring up things that Brian Maxwell did. But it's Alex Jones, so I got to play it. So we're going to get into that. It's going to be a good one today, man. So make sure y'all hit that like button. You know what I mean? So let's get into it. Let's tap in with RJ Talks. He's going over some corruption going on in California, which ain't surprising, bro. Just remember I said, bro, the main thing that they're upset with Trump about is that he's in power, of course. But besides that, is that he is eliminating them from being able to rob you. And he's going after these people. And you're going to see. And I'm just saying. It
is Thursday, November 13th, and major political corruption exposed in the state of California inside the Gavin Newsom administration. 5 people arrested, including Newsom's former chief of staff, his long-term former chief of staff. That's the most powerful person in state government other than Newsom himself. Also, California capitulating yesterday, canceling 17,000 commercial driver's licenses issued to illegal drivers, and brand new deportation numbers released. We're going to show you that real, actual progress.
Excuse us.
Williamson, do you have anything to say? Any comments? Should other California officials and people involved in the government be concerned now with this investigation underway?
Do you have any comment, Ms. Williamson?
Keep it real. Don't her fat ass look like she look like she likes stealing. She look like she likes stealing. A little hungry ass.
No, you guys can contact my attorney.
You need to steal a
Do you have
diet
anything
pill.
to say at all?
Ms. Williamson, do you have anything to say to Javier Becerra right now? He called this a
Have you
gut
been
punch.
cooperating with prosecutors?
Ms. Williamson, you have nothing to say with the
And look, real quick. Also, listen, she was the Joint Chief of Staff of, she's second to Gavin Newsom. Right? Ain't that what he said? Should I go back? I want to go back really quick. Then we're going to fast forward it. Because I don't want to make nothing up. Let me see.
Issued to illegal drivers. Newsom himself. Also, California capitulating yesterday, canceling 17 in state government other than Newsom himself.
Okay. So he said that.
Person in state government, long-term former chief of staff. That's the
Chief of
most
staff.
powerful person in state government other than Newsom himself.
Okay.
Also, California
Anything to say at all?
Ms. Williamson, do you have anything to say?
So he said that she is basically the second most powerful person, I'm assuming in that state or whatever the case may be. So if you're telling me that this sleaze bag of a woman is robbing and stealing, you think slick back Gavin Newsom isn't? Man, listen. I can only imagine. Yo, I'm telling you, bro, Trump is he is exposing everything and everybody.
Say to Javier Becerra right now.
He's scared of Trump.
He called this a
Have you
gut
been
punch.
cooperating with prosecutors?
That's gut punch. She definitely
Ms.
got a
Williamson,
gut.
you have nothing to say with the 23 counts against you, alleging
Good
that
side of the story you would like
you
to
and
share with
co-conspirators
prosecutors?
funneled money to Javier Becerra.
Watch out for your steps.
You're going
So
to
Gavin
jail.
Newsom, fresh off his trip from Brazil, sipping mojitos on the beach in Sao Paulo, being wined and dined, leaving the third world country he created in California to go criticize President Trump in Brazil, calling Trump an abomination yesterday. The most corrupt administration in American history. Really? Is that so, Gavin? Because
real.
while you were
That's crazy.
saying that, at the same time those words were coming out of your mouth, your long-time former chief of staff was arrested, charged, indicted by a federal grand jury on 23 charges related to
Hey, listen, you know how the courts work, bro. Listen, you know her big ass is going to throw Gavin Newsom under the bus. Gavin lawyer going to see her immediately. Immediately. Listen, you gonna be good in there. You gonna be, you gonna have the finest of the finest. Just chill. Gavin's scared as hell right now. Trust me. She gonna make a deal. It's gonna be some people going down. And they said 5 other people. Niggas going to jail.
public corruption, real corruption, folks, old school political corruption, accused of committing bank fraud, wire fraud, defrauding the government, obstructing justice, filing false tax returns, and lying to federal investigators.
Former chief of staff to the California governor, top Democrat Gavin Newsom, is set to appear in court tonight after being indicted on public corruption charges. According to prosecutors, Dana Williamson diverted something like $225,000 from an inactive political campaign to an associate's personal use from 2022 to 2024, which is right around the same time she worked for the governor. Prosecutors also say she claimed more than $1 million in business deductions for things like traveling on private planes, luxury hotel stays, home furnishings, designer handbags, and more. A spokesperson for Governor Newsom tells us in a statement Williamson is no longer serving in his administration.
He said he trying to break away quick. The governor expects all public servants to uphold the highest standards of integrity. His ass ain't got no integrity, boy. You're going to jail, Gavin.
And that the governor expects
gonna throw
all
you under
public
the bus.
servants to uphold the highest standards of integrity. Our Chief Justice correspondent Kelly O'Donnell is following this one for us. Kelly, what's going on here? What do we know and how did this develop?
Well, this looks like kind of old-fashioned political corruption allegations, where Dana Williamson is among 5 people who are accused of funneling money from what was a dormant political campaign account, and we don't know which candidate is associated with that, and doing things like paying expenses, giving one of the co-conspirators a no-show job where a spouse gets paid, but there's no work involved. She has not worked for Governor Newsom since last year, but obviously there are political overtones, and obviously his picture is what we see on camera, and so he will have to some degree, answer for these issues. But this investigation began 3 years ago, so it is not of just this moment with the Trump administration or the DOJ. So it's been going on for a long time.
Just to be clear, this is the equivalent of Susie Wiles in the Trump administration or Stephen Miller being arrested for this kind of public corruption. According to the charges, Williamson allegedly helped divert about $225,000 in funds from a dormant political campaign to an associate's personal account using a money laundering scheme to fund no-show jobs between February 2022 and September 2024. That was last year. And she worked for Gavin much longer than that. This was going on up until last year when Newsom was clearly tipped off by the Biden DOJ that his most senior administration official was allegedly a crook. Here's the DOJ's official announcement accusing her of backdating contracts to thwart the FBI's investigation into paycheck protection loans made to a business that she owned. They say she also allegedly filed false tax returns deducting luxury purchases of home goods and handbags, as well as private jet flights. This lady, Dana Williamson, she ran Newsom's administration for years, folks, until she was replaced in December of last year. That's less than a year ago. Newsom's office putting out a statement responding to this indictment saying Ms. Williamson no longer serves in this administration. While we are still learning of the details of the allegations, the governor expects all public servants to uphold the highest standards of integrity, urging patience as the charges play out. Also adding that at the time when the president's openly calling for his attorney general to investigate his political enemies, it's especially important to honor the American principle of being innocent until proven guilty in a court of law by a jury of one's peers. Yeah, a bit ironic considering all your rhetoric about the Trump administration being the most corrupt in the nation's history, while your chief of staff, Gavin, is facing real old school corruption charges, real political corruption.
Yo, didn't go to, bro. I gotta see something real quick, bro. Cause this dude, bro, yo, he is definitely one of them. A lot of them are corrupt, but I know for a fact, I could just look at that motherfucking nigga and know he corrupt. I want to see something real fast. Okay. So it says the most prominent example of an expensive and unfinished project linked to Gavin Newsom is the California high-speed rail project, which has ballooned in cost and faced delays, though Newsom maintains his administration is working on completing a smaller section. Another expensive and unfinished project is the California State Capitol Annex project, a renovation and expansion that started before Newsom took office, but has faced significant cost overruns and criticism under his administration's watch. So, hold on. So this been going on since 2019, bruh. Hold on, bruh. It says, cost overruns. Initial cost estimates have significantly increased. The Central Valley segment alone is now estimated to cost over $33 billion, with the full project potentially exceeding $128 billion of taxpayer money in California, baby. God damn, this nigga is crazy, bro. Holy shit. It says the Trump administration terminated federal grants for the project, which Newsom's administration is suing to regain. Yo, that's all they want to do is rob you, bro. Listen, what? Bro, 33 billion and can basically reach up to 128 billion, bro. This is what they do. They have these little projects and they have their little contractors and they little people that they go to and, they get the work done for the low and they overcharge for everything. Oh, this 10-pound brick costs 30,000. Like, that's the type of shit that they do. And then Gavin Newsom obviously is getting kickbacks. For sure. A lot of them are, bro. This is what they do, bro, in these states, bro. That's why I said, bro, these politicians are angry at Trump mostly because he can't rob you. Look at Chuck Schumer, how he walked out of that I don't know if it was a committee meeting or whatever it was. He walked out when when Bernie Moreno was asking him simple questions. Like, basically, are millionaires going to be able to get these subsidies? And he just left and he's like, oh, you're trying to focus on the 1% while 99% of people suffer. No, you're beasting to get another year extension on this bad policy, which is Obamacare. You know what I mean? But the thing is, he want this money to go to these insurance companies so they can get these kickbacks, bro. That's all it's about. They want to get the kickbacks. These people just want to they all here are getting filthy rich on top of already getting a handsome salary at that. So they get a handsome salary from us. We are paying these scumbags over what, 150 to 175,000. Maybe some of them getting 200,000. I know the president gets I think 400. So we're paying all of these politicians handsomely, like good money. And then they're doing insider trading, you know what I mean? And they're in all types of shit. Corrupt, bruh. We need an overhaul. Everybody has to go. We need 5 people in government, and that's it. In like 3 departments. And what they really need to do, honestly, like the CIA, FBI, and stuff like that, all that shit needs to be just one. It shouldn't be like all different departments and they all separately get this funding. No. Make all of them motherfuckers one, eliminate fucking half of each one and consolidate it and, give them a certain amount of money. The government needs an overhaul, bro.
School political corruption, doing so under your nose, allegedly, for years. Or were you aware this kind of behavior was persistent in your administration? She's facing up to 20 years in prison and a $250,000 fine each for each wire fraud and conspiracy charge, as well as up to 5 years in prison and fines for the conspiracy to obstruct justice and false statement counts. Meanwhile, California capitulating yesterday, canceling 17,000 CDLs following a federal audit. That's commercial driver's licenses. The California Department of Motor Vehicles has just canceled 17,000 non-domiciled commercial driver's licenses following a federal audit of the state's CDL program, according to the Department of Transportation. Secretary Sean Duffy releasing this statement yesterday, asserting that California officials admitted to illegally issuing the CDLs to dangerous foreign drivers. That's
Bruh, what? Yo, first of all, the part that pisses me off about stuff like that is because, number one, you got to go to school, pay a certain amount of money, and actually pass to get a CDL. They were giving licenses and CDLs. Bro, they were giving illegal immigrants so much shit, bro. Like, just think about that. It's not easy to just obtain a CDL. They were like, literally just like, and putting these people who probably even know how to drive these trucks and stuff like that in these trucks. It's crazy.
Close quote, folks. And that the DMV sent notices to the
I know 30 niggas right now that need a license.
license holders that their licenses no longer meet federal requirements and will expire automatically in 60 days. And good riddance. Duffy saying, after weeks of claiming they did nothing wrong, Gavin Newsom and California have now been caught red-handed, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. My team will continue to force California to prove they have removed every illegal immigrant from behind the wheel of semi-trucks and school buses. Look, it's against the law for any illegal alien.
They putting them on school buses too? Yo, bro, these people ain't got no morals, bro.
To receive a driver's license.
Crazy.
And all of this blowing up after those dozens of fatal CDL and tractor-trailer accidents in recent months from California, Illinois, New York drivers who were in the country illegally and completely ill-prepared to handle those big rigs, just not knowing how to really drive those trucks. It was just awful scenes if you saw some of the videos from those incidents. One of the drivers was arrested by ICE who say received his CDL from New York State with the name on the license.
Bruh, what? This shit say, what? N.G.L.A. What the fuck is that? No name given. That's his name. Yo, limited term CDL. Yo, bro, these people are crazy. This from New York. Another Democratic state, bro. This is what they doing in these Democratic states, bro. This is crazy. This slick hair motherfucker. How, bro, just think about how dangerous that is. These big rigs. Yo, bro, you can lose your life for real getting in an accident with one of them. Like bad, instantly type shit.
Reading no name given.
That's
you
crazy.
Can't make this up. You could see a copy of that right here. Look at this. No name given on the driver's license. What in the world is this about? Watch.
You know, Director Lyons, I saw something.
And that was recent. That said 2025 to 2028.
That startled me. That was ICE arresting an Indian national, an illegal alien operating an 18-wheeler.
Look, 414. That was in what? What's that, April? 2025 issued. Like, this was recent. You can't make this up. Gave this motherfucker a CDL license for 3 years to drive big rigs, bruh. Yo, bruh.
In Oklahoma, and you can see on your screen now he was carrying a New York State issued commercial driver's license. It could also be used as a real ID. His first name was listed as, quote, no name given. That's literally a real ID he was arrested with. Meanwhile, ICE has arrested at least 91 illegals operating commercial vehicles following that.
Look at these niggas. It's not even funny, but it's funny, bro. Look at these dumbass niggas.
Deadly crash back in August in Florida. That was also an Indian national. And, you know, fortunately, in this latest no-name case, no one lost their life. But this has got to give a lot of pause and concern for people that we have a lot of illegal aliens out there that shouldn't be behind commercial vehicles.
Yeah, it's really scary, Griff. And, you know, like you said, to see that on a driver's license issued by a state, no name given. And the worst part, there's a real ID star right up there in the corner. I don't know about you all, but it was like going through a security clearance for me to get my real ID. So I can't believe that we're giving illegal aliens who have no right to be here these driver's licenses. You have these sanctuary states that want to go ahead and try to just make it welcoming for these people that we don't know who they are. And again, these are...
So now hold on real quick, right? Because if they're giving them, so if this is why Trump should kill this filibuster thing, man. But even if he does, right? Let's just say he does, and he gets past the voter ID Act or whatever, where you got to have an ID in order to vote. That's what they're going to do. They're just going to issue these people IDs, bro. Yo, bro, these people are so corrupt, bro. It's crazy. You can't even make this shit up, bro.
CDL licenses. These people are transporting hazardous goods, materials at times, and in some cases, we don't know exactly what they're doing. And look how many American citizens have lost their lives because of individuals like that have these driver's licenses.
How is that possible? I recently renewed my license, and it was a nightmare. It took 3 separate trips to the DMV. My birth certificate, they said, wasn't clear enough in one of the trips. Another time, they made me wait until my new license arrived before I could go back with the physical copy and pay for the enhanced driver's license. Yet they just seem to hand out Class A and CDL licenses to illegals. It's terrifying. And what do you think is the reason for that, right? Like, why are they doing this? Why have they been doing this? What do they get out of it? Is it really just about diversity and inclusion? Could that really be the only reason for it? In another story, the immigrant population in the U.S. has successfully dropped for the first time in decades. An analysis of census data by the Pew Research Center finding that between January and June 2025, so 5 months ago, the foreign-born population declined by nearly 1.5 million people already. 1.5 million in just the first 6 months of Trump's administration. That's a lot. 1.5 million, still far from the 10-plus million Biden allowed to illegally come into the country between 2021 through 2020.
Yeah, man, shout out to RJ Talks, man. Always giving the latest and the greatest updates on what's going on in the motherfucking world. But yo, Trump not playing, man. 1.5 million is crazy. That's a lot of people, but still got a long ways to go, man. Now, people be trying to make everything like a racial thing. Like, bro, it's got nothing to do with race, bro. It's simply, it's not sustainable, bro. It's just not. That many people being in any country is not sustainable, bro. Bro, 37. I think it went up to 38 trillion dollars in debt, and we letting in 10. They say 10, 20. Who knows how many? Really, honestly, just think about that. That's scary. You don't even know how many people that even let in the country. Bro, people losing their lives. And then the crazy part is they don't even have no sympathy for it, At least Trump was, paying respects to these people's family and stuff during this campaign. You didn't hear no Democrats speaking on these people unless they were asked a question. Oh, of course, we feel bad. No, you don't feel bad. You let these people in. It's crazy, bro. And people, I say, man, people act like it's not a big deal until these things happen to you and it hits close to home. And I'm not saying I hope it does. I'm just saying that, it's all fun and games, and you want to go out here with your little protests and your little signs and be kicking for these people to come in the country who, have no right to be here, and then you want to, be talking about DEI and shit. Like, and then these people, and then it hits close to home, and something happens to one of your family, and it's crazy, bro. But anyway, man, on to the real nitty gritty. So, they did they little run on all of legacy media trying to expose this whole Epstein thing, man. But before we get into it, man, make sure you hit that like button. Also hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. I truly do appreciate all y'all who is in here tapping in with your boy. But we about to tap in with Brian Maxwell. He's gonna break down this shit. This shit get a little crazy at the end. Shit's crazy, bro. But let's get into it.
The first, a former U.S. president, Barack Obama. Publicly, he's revered. Privately, he was one of the worst. He wasn't there for the girls. He was there for the island boys.
This time, the Democrats just hit a new low. Today,
the island boys.
We supposed to be celebrating the reopening of the government, the signing of the funding bill, but no. What happened coincidentally is after the Democrats caved in and did that BS holding the country hostage and realized it wasn't going to work, they folded and the government is opening. But rather than the media covering that, it just so happened that some emails was leaked, some Epstein emails that the government has had in their possession since 2015, 2016. They decided now is the time for them to release it. Coincidence, huh? Sure, it don't have anything to do with the fact that
never coincidence.
They'd rather that story dominate the media cycle than anything positive for Republicans. Definitely not for Trump. But let's get off into this. Now, as you see right here, this clip is Congresswoman Stansbury as she goes on CNN, and she's going to talk about these emails and what it means and how they got Trump this time. But when you see her get busted out on live TV, it's going to blow your mind. Then we got Jasmine Crotchet, who was also thought she was going to take a victory lap on the Trump Epstein emails. She was also called out and blasted and had to back up. But worse to this thing, you're going to hear from Virginia Giuffre herself. You're going to hear she had what was called a death switch, allegedly, that was released when she passed away. This audio or video was supposed to be released and sent out to the media, and it was, and I got that for you. We also going to disprove this myth once and for all from the email. So stick with me on this one, because we're not going to let them tank our guy with some BS story, because they keep coming things up. One of them is so deplorable, it'll blow your mind. As a matter of fact, before I even get off into this clip, let's take it straight to the email, because let's go ahead and put this.
Hey, yo, you know what's crazy too? Real fast. We're gonna let this rock out. But what's crazy too is that during Trump's first term, if Trump wanted to, he could have went after Hillary Clinton. Let's be honest, right? And he didn't, because Trump has integrity, and he didn't want to go after the former president's wife, right? So if they were smart, but they're not smart, they would have left Trump alone. Now, they done did all of these things to Trump, and now they're all getting on the news. Oh, he's on a revenge tour. Oh, he's going after his political opponents. What? Like, come on, let's just be honest. If you try to kill me, bankrupt me, go after my family, what do you think I'm going to do to you? Like, bro, even if Trump came out and said, yes, I'm on a revenge tour, I would understand. I would understand totally.
This egg to bed right now. So as you can see right here, this is the emails that the Democrats said, we got him. We got him now. Ha ha. So as you see, from Ghislaine Maxwell to J.E., Jeff, I've been thinking about that. So from Jeff, I want you to realize that that dog hasn't barked. It's Trump. Then it says, victim, spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there. Now, the Democrats came out, and this is one of their big smoking gun emails right there with the word victim, because the victim's name is redacted. But let me show you what the actual victim's name is in the email. Let's reread this from Jeffrey. I want you to realize that that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Virginia spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there. So Virginia Giuffre is who they're speaking about. The same woman who has testified under oath countless times. The same woman that even in her own book, that President Trump was never inappropriate, never did anything. She never saw him do anything. She never saw him on the island. None of that at all. So why would the Democrats redact that name, even though the files weren't redacted when the House Oversight Committee had them? The Democrats chose to redact the names and certain phrases from emails to make it seem like it was some new person, because if they would have came out with that and had the name Virginia, it would have been exposed right away. Now, another thing, and I'm going to get back to the video clip, but these are important because you may or may not have heard of this one. This here, this lady, Katie, her name is Katie Johnson. Allegedly, in 2015, she decided to come out with a lawsuit against President Trump, saying that he assaulted her, tied her up, took her V word from her, and all of this stuff, right? And you got people, I saw people on X posting the document that's supposed to be the alleged transcript from a grand jury trial involving Katie Johnson. Except for there's one problem. So if you hear about, there was a lawsuit with Trump and Jeffrey together, and it was by this Katie Johnson lady, that was fake.
So just think about that. Just think about that. Now, mind you, I seen the video of the woman he's talking about, who, I guess back in the day when she was a child, she was in like one of them little pageants or something like that, and she claimed that Trump, you said and did things to her, or whatever the case may be. So just think about that, like the things that you go through, when you it's a celebrity. Just celebrity. And mind you, this was allegedly happened when he was just a celebrity. It's before presidents and any of that. You know what I mean? And this person all of a sudden comes out, and he's going to break the whole thing down to you. But just think about how, bro, the stuff that, certain people have to deal with, but especially Trump has to deal with constantly, just weird shit that people are up to try to get him.
The woman even came out
that's crazy,
and admitted that it was fake. As a matter of fact, it was a former television producer who created it. This is more than 9 years old. So let's take a look at this. So as you can see from The Guardian, reputable left-wing outlet, R-word lawsuits against Donald Trump linked to former TV producer. Norm Lubow, formerly a producer on the Jerry Springer Show, apparently coordinated lawsuits accusing Donald Trump of hurting a child in the 90s. Lawsuits accusing Donald Trump of hurting a child in the 1990s appear to have been orchestrated by an eccentric anti-Trump campaigner with a record of making outlandish claims about celebrities. Norm Lubow, a former producer on the Jerry Springer TV show, Jerry Springer, has previously been involved with disputed allegations that O.J. Simpson bought illegal on the day Simpson's wife was unalive, and that Kurt Cobain's widow had the Nirvana frontman unalive. Court filings in California and New York against Trump, purportedly on behalf of a woman using the name Katie Johnson, have in recent weeks alleged that the presumptive Republican presidential nominee hurt Johnson when she was 13. Trump vehemently denies the allegations. A publicist using the pseudonym Al Taylor is acting as a representative for Johnson. So these people are using pseudonyms and fake names, and this is before it all came out. There was a reason for that. And has been shopping around the media outlets a video of a woman who wears a disguise while recounting the allegations against Trump. Taylor said in phone calls last month that she was seeking $1 million for the tape. Jezebel has published a segment of the video along with a detailed account of how the allegations against Trump were being pushed to reporters. A telephone number and an email address used by Taylor have also been used by Lubow, according to 3 sources who have worked with them. A longtime associate of Lubow also told The Guardian that Lubow used the identity Al Taylor. So the supposed lawyer using the pseudonym Al Taylor just so happened to be the same pseudonym used by this weirdo, Norm Lubow, who you see right here in this picture. If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, because I'll never ask you for a cash app, a donation, or a super chat. You hitting that like button is more than enough. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And whether you're subscribing now or already subscribed, just make sure that you hit the notifications and you select all. YouTube has issues with notifications, but when you hit the bell and select all, they'll make sure that you get notified the next time I upload new videos. Who has also been connected with creating other hoax situations, trying to get money or whatever it is, but it's fake. So when you hear people or see people bring up paperwork talking about Katie Johnson and how this 13-year-old was tied up and Trump threw money at her, it's all BS. But the mainstream media won't talk about that. As a matter of fact, here's another article about Lubow. Jerry Springer's show producer claims he acted as a, you see the word, as a simp, but replace the S with a P, as a imp for iconic host. Dismisses new Netflix doc.
Yo, why niggas don't be just saying the word, bro? Like, my whole thing is, bro, I be saying the words, bro. I don't, like, it ain't even that deep.
So he's acting like he acted like the P word for Jerry Springer. There's Lubow right here. Let me show you a more recent picture
like
of him.
Creep.
Right here. Norm Lubow.
What the fuck? This nigga look like a fucking weirdo, man. What the hell?
Admits to hiring fake guests who would be entertaining while on the show and willing to entertain Jerry Springer after the show. So now he's saying that he was getting ladies of the night for Springer. So I just wanted to bring you that before we get into this video clip, okay? To show you what we're dealing with. These folks are radical, they're liars, and they're going to the depths of hell just to try to get this man. And guess how many people are falling for it? But check this clip out right here.
A lot of dummies.
Let's look at this clown show. And this clip is a little long, okay? But stick with it because the bust out is priceless.
Yo, and another thing that Trump did, which was super smart, was when he went, when like all of these people on CNN, well, I'm not saying people, well, these organizations, these CEOs of CNN, MSNBC, BBC, and all of that, Trump ain't playing with them. He going after them. You say anything crazy, he's going after you. So now they're trying to play cordial, push back on people making allegations against Donald Trump and stuff like that in his administration. That's why when you see like The View, for instance, how many times have you seen Sonny Holston and Whoopi Goldberg say, we have a legal note? They say, Pete Hegseth has long denied any allegations that were against. They just be lying, bro. They just get on here and lie. Because the whole thing is, all they want to do is put out the perception. That's it. They want to put out the perception that Donald Trump was in some type of pedophilia with children with Epstein. When the facts is that when Trump realized that Epstein was a weirdo, he cut him off. You know what I mean? And the guy Epstein was involved with a lot of people. You seen the pictures. I showed it on the previous joint. You go check it out. Where he had in his office, he had pictures. Matter of fact, I think it was Brian Maxwell. On Brian Maxwell, I played him. Of images of like who was it? George Bush sitting like a little kid with a paper plane or some shit. Like, bro. This dude Jeffrey Epstein was blackmailing a lot of these politicians, bro, and I believe that he was a spy or they say for like Israel or something, and it makes sense though when you really think about it. It makes sense.
And right after that, Jasmine Crotches bust out, and that's a little bit lower. But then we got the coup de grace. I want you to hear from Virginia Giuffre herself. So check this clip out.
Thank you so much for being with us. What are you taking from these emails?
Yeah, I mean, these emails are clearly extraordinarily explosive. They implicate the president, that he not only...
But just listen to the things that they say, because it's just crazy the lengths that they go to try to, just put anything on you, bro.
Knew what was happening in Jeffrey Epstein's circle, but that he spent time with at least one, if not multiple, of Jeffrey Epstein's named sex victims, as well as there's discussion in the email that you just cited between Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein about the fact that he had been the dog that didn't bark, and they specifically are talking about the police. So what this implicates is that potentially going back all the way to 2011, even after Jeffrey Epstein had been investigated for criminal activity, not just in sex trafficking, but also for financial crimes, which we know U.S. Attorney Acosta lied under his deposition about, that Donald Trump was being named by Epstein and by Ghislaine Maxwell as being the dog that didn't bark on them. And so the question is, what did Donald Trump have on them? Was he engaged in these activities? And why is Donald Trump calling Republican members of the House today and yesterday to threaten them to get off of the discharge petition? If he thinks that we should be focused on reopening the government, then why is he personally calling Republicans and threatening them right now?
So help us understand this, because Democrats redacted Virginia Giuffre's name. And I mean, I have to say, these emails...
It came to us.
Now, remember, y'all know the Democrats are not used to the media pushing back. She did not expect what's about to happen. She did not expect it. Now, watch this deer in headlights, and I'm going to pull it back just a little bit because her face has it. Look at that smug look on her face. And she's been hanging with the sisters in the Democrat Party too much, because every time she talks, she thinks that this is the way that just talk. I get sick of how these Democrat women be talking like that. Just talk regular.
Understand this, because Democrats redacted Virginia Giuffre's
smile
name.
Gone.
And I mean, I have to say, these emails...
It came to us redacted. No, it came to us redacted.
It came to you redacted. Okay.
Bro, just look how quick she just lied. Literally just lied that fast. No, it came to us redacted. No, it didn't. It didn't. Like, everybody knows it, including this anchor, this host. She knows it. And she just lied that quickly, bro. This is why I tell you, they lie like it's nothing.
Yes, so we don't even know. That is the claim of the White House. So that's something that we should be asking questions about.
Now, you know that that's a lie, because I just showed you the unredacted version that I have. The House Oversight Committee got it unredacted first. They decided to redact it, so she's lying in real time.
Yes.
Okay, really interesting. So, and House Republicans came out and mentioned the redaction there.
On the heels of all this spy talk, I want to take a moment to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video chapter, Seniors. Right now is open enrollment period.
That Virginia Giuffre, who was so vocal, right, and was not known for pulling any punches about what happened to her, did not accuse Trump of wrongdoing. And so I want to know kind of what you think of that, because there is this discrepancy. You have Epstein saying this in an email to Maxwell. Maxwell, we know about her in terms of her credibility. She doesn't really have credibility, right, when it comes to being honest. I'd say people have the same questions about Epstein. Giuffre has said that there wasn't she hasn't claimed wrongdoing with Trump. So how do you kind of square what you're reading in the email with what Virginia Giuffre had said publicly?
Well, first of all, like I just mentioned, we don't know if the White House's claim that redacted name actually is Virginia Giuffre. And maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but
bro, what the fuck? They literally redacted the name. They know it's the name. Bro, like she getting pushed back. She know what she's saying is a lie. She know it's stupid what she's saying, and it's not working out. They're so used to going on CNN, MSNBC, NBC, and all of these legacy media, Democrat-run news stations and being able to just say anything. And they no longer can do that anymore because Trump ain't playing. He getting lawsuits from these people because they not playing fair. And he should go after them because they putting a lot of stain on his name. And at the end of the day, you know, as a man, as a human being, you don't want these type of things on your name, bro. You know, they're putting pedophilia on his name. And she's just doing it like it's nothing. And now she's getting caught. And now she wants to, well, we don't know the White House, and now they're trying to put it on the White House.
I think it's convenient that the White House is trying to choose an alibi that they think. And, you know, if you read the email, this is private correspondence between Maxwell and Epstein. Why does the White House know at all who Donald Trump was hanging out with at Jeffrey Epstein's house, who was one of the sex trafficking accusers, right? Like, this should be raising every hair on the back of your neck right now. We don't even know that that is who is named in this email. Secondly, whether or not Virginia Giuffre has accused the president of wrongdoing, what I'd like to say to the American people is believe your eyes. We have all seen the photographs of Donald Trump with underage girls.
Yo, real quick, right? I seen this guy. You know, people be doing. They got body language experts, right? Who analyze the videos like you know, politicians or whoever, right? And they analyze body language, and it just made when looking at her, talk and seeing how many times she blinked in like a couple seconds tells me that she's lying. And I learned this from a body analysis expert. He said when you be blinking all crazy when you talking, you're not telling the truth. You're not telling the truth. Look how many times this bitch blinked. This bitch blinked like 1,000,000 times in like 30 seconds.
To choose an alibi that they think. And, you know, if you read the email, this is private correspondence between Maxwell and Epstein. Why does the White House know at all who Donald Trump was hanging out with at Jeffrey Epstein's house, who was one of the sex trafficking accusers, right? Like, this should be raising every hair on the back of your neck right now. We don't even know that that is who is named in this email. Secondly, whether or not Virginia Giuffre has accused the president of wrongdoing, what I'd like to say to the American people is believe your eyes. We have all seen the photographs of Donald Trump with underage girls sitting on his lap. We know that he was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein for more than a decade. We know that he has not complied with our congressional subpoena of the DOJ files, and we know that he is named multiple times in those files. So believe your eyes, believe your ears. And my question is, if they were not engaged in an elaborate smokescreen and cover-up, then why the hell is the president calling and threatening members of Congress for them to not take a vote on releasing these files after these files have already been subpoenaed? They are trying to bury this, and the president is personally trying to stop Congress from asking for these files again.
That's a bold-faced lie. The reason why President Trump met with Goldberg, and it was already announced, is because he doesn't want members of the Republican Party getting mixed up in this BS rolling in the mud with Democrats. If Republicans start signing stuff and helping Democrats, it does nothing more to cause more of a distraction and a smokescreen to take away from the Democrats hurting Americans, from the economy doing well, the border being secure, and on the economic agenda that the president has. So Lauren Broberg, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and all of them, plus there are people whose names, you know, like I know, if your name comes up in an Epstein file, you become radioactive immediately. And apparently there are some people who, like the guy in the picture where it's Trump, Epstein, this really, really tall guy, and I don't know if that's his wife or some lady. What about them? People like them that might not have known anything was going on, but they knew the man. And so you got hundreds, if not thousands of people's names that'll be in these files, that'll be released, that literally had nothing to do with anything. It could catch blowback, all because the Democrats are trying to get Trump.
And more importantly, talking about a cover-up, why didn't Joe Biden release it? That's my thing, bro. This all is simple, bro. If Trump had anything to do with this guy, Jeffrey Epstein, why didn't they expose it? They had 4 years to do it. You know, like, that's just the main thing for me. You can say what you want. Oh, Trump. Oh, the Democrats, the Republicans. Why didn't you release these files under Joe Biden? Is there people in the files that, you know, might be your boss or might be the former president, or, is it people like that in there? These rich and famous people.
This thing has been investigated.
I think so.
Even the ladies that are coming out saying what they want, it's been alleged already that there was Democrats and different people, Democrat supporters, offering money to certain women to go out there and to kind of kick this thing off. And they know Trump had nothing to do with it, but they could use a few bucks. Yep. So just keep that in mind.
I do want to ask you about that because it is unusual that Lauren Boebert is there for this meeting. And
that's why, and I'm gonna let it play after this. But that's why I don't like how, all right, listen, bro, this is a real situation that really happened, and there's real victims involved, and it's an unfortunate situation, to be honest. But I just don't like how. I'm not even speaking on them. I'm saying in general how women can come out after 30 years and make claims against somebody, that has, status or whatever the case may be. And now these people are going to court and on trial, and they're bringing up, what ifs. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no concrete evidence. You know what I mean? Like, Monica Lewinsky, she had the dress still. Bill was done.
First, just to really zoom in on this redacted name here. So, are you of the belief that the victim that Epstein is alleging Trump spent time with at his house is someone besides Virginia Giuffre, or could be someone besides Virginia Giuffre?
I do not have information that would allow me to answer that question.
Now, she just sat there and went off and said all of this crap about this and hair stand up on the back of the neck, but you don't even know if there's a victim. You don't even know if anything happened, and now you're trying to weasel your way out of it. Sorry, I apologize.
What I know is that we've received 23,000 documents from the Jeffrey Epstein estate, including this email.
Okay, but then let me zero in on this real quick. Can I just ask you this? So you do not have knowledge that tells you that is Virginia Giuffre?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so explain this again to us. You received this, and it is redacted. There is no name. And so you're saying it's the White House that's saying this is Giuffre?
Yes.
She's lying,
and what kind of questions does that raise for you?
Well, as I said, first and foremost, we have subpoenaed these files from the White House, from the Department of Justice. We have subpoenaed financial documents. We have subpoenaed the estate. And thus far, Donald Trump and the White House have refused to disclose the DOJ documents that are clear on what the FBI investigated, who was facing potential criminal charges, who was implicated, why the president is named in those files. So we don't know what is in the White House, DOJ, FBI files. But what we do know is that the estate has been producing documents in tranches, and they have been redacting those documents as they have been sent to the committee. I have not reviewed the original transmittal that came from the estate, but my understanding is that in that 23,000 page document production that happened over the weekend, that there were redactions produced by the estate. And so it is my understanding that it is the White House's response. They are trying to claim that it is Virginia Giuffre, and we do not know if that is the case or not. And while we can ask the estate to verify that, I don't have that information in front of me right now.
Okay, and back to
so as you saw, she jumped up there. That big smile she had in the beginning is long gone as it stretched on, and then because she thought she was just gonna get up there and throw all that BS and it was just gonna stick. No, because the media knows. Right now, President Trump is threatening the BBC with $1 billion defamation suit. CNN knows if they go with this, MSDNC knows if they go with that story, it's over. Trump is going to come down on them hard. Now, this only a few seconds. Check out Jasmine Crotchet.
God, I hate this bitch. She's a bitch. I don't give a fuck. Like, Charlamagne the God talking about, she is the best thing since sliced bread. Fuck out of here, bro. This bitch is annoying. She's fake. And she's just another politician, another liar.
As she tries to get all amped up until she realizes, no, your team did this. Check it out.
Pay attention to what they say. She gets exposed very quickly, too.
This is an email from April 2nd, 2011. Republicans were saying that that victim is Virginia Giuffre. As you know, she died by suicide. She's been very outspoken victim of Jeffrey Epstein. Here's the email right here on your screen. She wrote a book, as you know, and she did not accuse him of any wrongdoing. What do you make of that? And can you confirm that?
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, it's redacted who the victim is, so I won't necessarily take the Republicans' word on who it is that's redacted. And I don't know why they would necessarily redact someone's name who is deceased at this point.
The Democrats did that, though. The Democrats redacted.
No.
Yo, she just look, bro. This is what they do, bro. Listen, bro. They got to start pushing back on these people, bro. Like, she literally just tried to. I don't understand why the Republicans would redact a dead person at this point. And she's like, no, the Democrats redacted it. And she's like, I know, but bruh, they lost. They just want to get on television and have their 15 seconds to kick Donald Trump's back in, make up shit on him, and hope that it sticks. And most of the time it does, because people are dumb and foolish. And they don't actually care. They just got TDS. People have TDS, unfortunately. They hate Donald Trump so much, even though they don't know him, even though he's doing so much to benefit America, even though he's trying to get all these illegal immigrants out that, which would in return affect in a good way, in a positive way, all the underprivileged neighborhoods across the nation. But all they want to do is kick the man's back in because he's in power and they lost. Let me rewind it a little bit, though, so you can see it again, because I cut it off. My bad.
She's been very outspoken victim of Jeffrey Epstein. Here's the email right here on your screen. She wrote a book, as you know, and she did not accuse him of any wrongdoing. What do you make of that? And can you confirm that?
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, it's redacted who the victim is, so I won't necessarily take the Republicans' word on who it is that's redacted. And I don't know why they would necessarily redact someone's name who is deceased at this point.
The Democrats did that, though. The Democrats redacted.
No. I understand, but I'm just saying, like, our biggest concern is to actually make sure that we are protecting victims. And obviously, she wrote a book. She told her truth.
You saw did you see how she tried to spin that when she was about to start going in on Republicans? Oh yeah, I don't know why they. No, Democrats did that. Then all of a sudden, it's to protect the victim. She's been public as all I don't know what. Virginia Giuffre has never tried to be a silent person or to act like she didn't want her story to be heard. But she thought that she was going to get on there and was just going to stick it to Trump. And I'll give it to CNN. No, they're telling them, no, Democrats did this. Democrats redacted that. This is Virginia Giuffre. And y'all are acting like this is some bombshell thing and some new person as if Trump did something. And they're doing this strictly for the purpose of dominating the news cycle. Now, here's the clip of Virginia Giuffre. Listen to this because it's heart-wrenching, but check this out.
If you're watching this, it means they got me. My dead man switch activated automatically after I missed 2 scheduled check-ins. I had it set up months ago because I knew this day was coming. I did not die by accident. I was murdered to keep their secrets buried. My name is Virginia Louise Giuffre. I was one of Jeffrey Epstein's victims. I survived Little St. James, but survival came at a price. I saw too much, knew too much, and now they've silenced me. But it's too late for them. They thought killing me would bury their secrets, but this video is going to a few organizations I trust, ones that have been exposing the truth for decades. You know who you are. It's your job to continue this fight. I was 16 when they reeled me in. I worked at Mar-a-Lago, folding towels, cleaning lockers. My father kept the tennis courts immaculate. We were just working folks trying to scrape by. Trump, he was around, but he was never the threat. The real predator was N.G.L.A. Maxwell, prim and proper, smiling, promising to teach me massage therapy at the Pink Mansion in Palm Beach. I had no idea I was being fed into a nightmare machine. Epstein's Island was hell disguised as paradise. You've heard some names linked to him, but those are just the sacrificial pawns. The real players, the ones they've protected at all costs, are still hiding in plain sight. I'll name 2 now. The first, a former U.S. president, Barack Obama. Publicly, he's revered. Privately, he was one of the worst. He wasn't there for the girls. He was there for the island boys.
Allegedly. Not Barack Obama. Not the good old boy. Now we know Barack like them boys. It lines up so perfectly, bro. And it's not even funny, bro. But look, listen, bro. Unfortunately, she lets you know what happened to her. And that's just sad, to be honest with you. It really is. In return, she exposed him. And she exposed Barack Obama. That's crazy. And think about it. He said he wasn't there for the women. He was there for the boys. The boys, not the men, the boys. And we know from, allegedly, from different sources, different people who have already said that, Michelle Obama is but even besides her, people have already said that, that Barack Obama, liked the same sex.
Young boys trafficked and groomed. I saw him more times than I can count, always without his Secret Service detail, sometimes with his Hollywood friends, George Clooney and Tom Hanks. I still have nightmares about them, arrogant and drunk on power, slinking into the cabanas with kids barely out of childhood. The second...
Ain't George Clooney the nigga that be going around talking about Trump? Having interviews and stuff like that, talking shit? That would make sense that a lot of these Hollywood motherfuckers, bro, be on Trump's case, bro. Because they was in the mix playing with them. They crazy.
Bill Gates, the billionaire philanthropist, loved by the media, hailed as a savior. We called him the benefactor. And former U.S. President Barack Obama, publicly, he's revered. Privately, he was one of the worst. He wasn't there for the girls. He was there for the island boys. Young boys trafficked and groomed. I saw him more times than I can count, always without his Secret Service detail, sometimes with his Hollywood friends, George Clooney and Tom Hanks. I still have nightmares about them, arrogant and drunk on power, slinking into the cabanas with kids barely out of childhood. The second, Bill Gates, the billionaire philanthropist, loved by the media, hailed as a savior. We called him the benefactor, and we used to dread seeing him naked. But he didn't come to party. He came to experiment. Genetic experiments, human experiments. I saw him inject a young girl with something they said was a genetic enhancement. She was younger than me, strapped to a table, terrified, treated like a lab rat while they muttered about seeding the future of the species. These men think they are gods, playing with life like it was theirs to own. I'm telling you now, Epstein isn't dead. They staged his death because he was too valuable. He held blackmail on some of the most powerful people on earth. Files, videos, confessions. They couldn't risk him talking, but they also couldn't risk him gone, so they hid him. Stashed him under the protection of the same elite who once paid him to supply them with flesh. And they thought killing me would stop this from coming out. They were wrong, and there is so much more to come. Hidden servers, encrypted drives, witness testimonies. It's all going to hit the light. This video is just the first detonation. The data drops are timed and automatic. They are going to people who can make a difference, and nobody can stop it now. Not even the law enforcement agencies in the US and UK, the same ones that buried the evidence I handed them, can stop this truth from getting out. If you're watching this, you are the resistance. Don't let my death be just another headline. Burn their lies to the ground. Make the world see the monsters behind the masks. And to any survivors out there, don't give up. We're in this together. They can't kill us all. Make them pay.
Wow. Wow.
Man,
so
deep.
There you have it. What do you think when you heard the name Barack Obama? Because when I first heard it, when she said former president, the first name I thought was going to be was Bill Clinton. And that's not the first time. Remember, you got Larry Sinclair connected with Obama with the booger sugar and doing the horizontal mambo. And then, you've got other stories of him as far as in his diary, dreaming of men. And then we got the alleged Michelle Obama situation. But Bill Gates, I already heard about him. That's why his wife left him, because of his dealings with Epstein, because he was being blackmailed and bribed, because of his affair with that underage tennis player that was 16, allegedly, from Australia, allegedly. Now we find out that he was freaking genetically testing young girls on Epstein Island. And when you watch movies like Hostel and stuff like that, you realize there are sick people out there. Matter of fact, I'm doing a video soon of what happened in another country. I won't say which one because then it would take the fun away from the video, where tourists was coming into this war-torn country and we're literally paying $80,000 to $100,000 to go through this city and just unalive people for fun, for sport. But with this one, I wanted to bring this to you because if you've been concerned or worried or been saying, you know what, did Trump really do it? And if you would have saw the story about Katie Johnson before knowing that it was already been exposed as a hoax, which is why you don't hear the Democrats pushing it. You notice the Democrats aren't saying anything about a 13-year-old alleged lawsuit with Trump and Jeff because it's already been exposed as an ex-Jerry Springer producer creation. So Patriots, MAGA, stand strong and stand firm. We can't be like these weak-hearted Democrats where every time they throw something out, we start second-guessing our guy. He's not perfect. And yeah, he probably was a womanizer. He was a billionaire in the 80s and in the 70s. That's what men did back then. But look at him now. We all have evolved. All of us have done things or have things in our past that if the world knew it, they might look at us with shame. So it's easy for people to sit back and point the finger because think about this. Trump is the most investigated and followed man on the planet. And the best that they can come up with is an email that they had to redact or a hoax about Russia that they had to create. That lets you know either they're the worst investigators in the world or our guy is actually a good man. A good man. And that's possible. But I just wanted to bring you the story to let you know what's really going on. Let you tell you to cool down, relax. It's all good. This shows the Democrat desperation. That's all this is. But tell me about it. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think about it. If you haven't already, hit that like button. And let me thank you from the top and bottom of my heart if you stayed and you watched it up to this point. So if you haven't already, hit that like button.
Yo, shout out to Brian Maxwell, man, exposing these hypocrites who just be talking. Bro. They just be lying to us. They don't care, bro. They really don't. And like they so corrupt, bro. I want to play this video real quick, right? This joint is deep. I wanted to find it a minute ago. I brought it up on I forget which show I did, but it was a little while back. But I brought it up, and I'm only playing it because it's unrelated to this Epstein thing, but I wanted to play it because it just goes to show you, like, this is why people need to stop being so much of a slave to any party, Republican or Democrat, and understand that these people play with your lives like it's nothing. They don't care about you. They truly don't. They really do not give a fuck about you. And it's really us against them. And I have my views on Trump, but at the same time, man, I don't trust none of these motherfuckers. But before we get into this next video, I want to play this real quick, because this joint was deep. I ran across this video. This video is from 2023, and you'll see. Just look
Dr. LeBeau, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you, Governor.
Jesse Ventura, thanks for coming now.
Hold on. Let me try to blow it up a little bit because it's kind of small. The image ain't that good, but I'm try to blow it up a little bit. All right, that should be good.
You've left the United States of America.
Yes, sir, I have.
What?
What the fuck? Oh, man. Hold on, bro. I ain't even seen the whole video. God damn it. That just blew my shit. My bad. Hold on. Damn, I think this one doesn't show the whole. Let me see. This should be, the stuff that they be doing, bro. I'm talking about they be planning shit 2 decades in advance, bro. Like, that's why, like, honestly, when it comes to some of this, they be like, prophecy stuff, some of this stuff, I'll be skeptical about, to be honest with you. Because these people, I feel like, honestly, I feel like they wrote the books. But that's another topic.
In this episode from True TV's legendary series, former Navy SEAL, governor, and ultimate skeptic Jesse Ventura dives deep into one of the most controversial topics of the 21st century. A whistleblowing natural doctor steps forward, challenging the mainstream narrative and exposing what they claim are hidden agendas, corporate interests, and medical industry secrets. Is it science or something else entirely?
Will be facing compulsory vaccination under the mistaken term of voluntary vaccination.
Now, what is it about these vaccinations? You think that they're bad?
Well, first of all, let's start with the fact that the World Health Organization has decided that we have 90% too many people.
Yo, I gotta find a longer form clip of this. But I wanted to just show that only real quick because she was talking about the vaccination in 2023, that they would do this, and they did it. This is why when I heard Obama, when I look back and I seen Obama talking about how they were, preparing for a pandemic, and I'm just like thinking in my mind, like, you only will prepare something. It's like, you know a hurricane's coming, and people prepare for a hurricane because they know it's coming. You know what I mean? It's just like the same thing. The only way you would plan for something is if you know it's going to come or it can come, because there's things out there that can, you know what I mean? But in my lifetime, COVID was the first time a pandemic happened. I asked my mom about, have they ever went through anything like that? And she said no. My mother is 57, 58. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy to me how these people will just sacrifice lives. And mind you, that what she said about the World Health Organization saying that about, being too many people, the population, that coincides with Bill Gates. If you go and look in my shorts, I played a clip, and I played it on the channel too because Brian Maxwell brought it up, of Bill Gates saying if we do good with vaccinations and reproductive health, which is abortion, I say it, abortion, then, they could lower the population from, by 10 to 15%. So these people are wicked, bro. So stop standing in your bubble and get the fuck out of that bubble. But anyway, I'm going to play a little bit of this Alex Jones, because Alex Jones is like a real source, bro. He really be knowing shit that's going on, bro. Like, I'm talking about he really be knowing shit.
Right now. Because he's not involved with these underage girls. Days of evidence to even cover. And the new stuff they brought out, that's the top story everywhere. Oh, God, he's caught red-handed. And you read it, and I already know the backstory. It's exculpatory. It makes Trump look good. Because it's what happened. And they would have already used this stuff on him if they had it. So it's an interesting story. It shows how the corporate media lies and spins. I think we already know they do that. Should I even do this? Should I show all the different lawyers for the victims saying they never saw Trump? Should I show how they're spinning what really happened? Because Trump, with Ratcliffe, for Israel and the CIA, not just Mossad, are covering it up for national security because of how many big corporate leaders are involved, and it's not Trump. So I've said it. I'm not holding my nose on Trump. He's in there. He's way better than Kamala, but I'm going to cover this stuff. His administration is covering up the intel connections and the head of Harvard and all these other hedge fund people, most of them Democrats, almost all of them, because Trump has been convinced it's too damaging to bring out. And then there's some back leverage on the bad guys like the King of England and his brother to make them play ball. Well, it don't look like they're playing ball. Doesn't look like your blackmail worked too good because it's being used on you. And that's why Trump's so pissed, which I said that's one of the things he might do is either brings it all out, damn the torpedoes go straight at him, justice be done by the heavens fall. That's what I'd do. Or he tries to manage it because, he don't want to bring down the whole country. Well, the cover-up is what's going to bring down the country. So I already war gamed this. I hit it. Hole in one. And I guess I'll just go through it quickly, and maybe I'll do a longer report because I did so much preparation for this. It's hard to just kind of skim over it. Which still, my skimming over it will be the deepest dive anybody does on it. Which is again super frustrating because I see all these idiots that don't know anything, and I'm not saying that from pleasure. I'm like, why do I know so much more than everybody? I have a really good memory, that's why, and this is what I do. Other people just see a trend, jump on it, kind of parrot it. They don't know what they're talking about. They're in mile wide and inch deep. They're all hat and no cattle. So it's on record that Epstein posted at least 2 teenage servers, waitresses, ice cream scoopers, people running food vending tables, buffets out of Mar-a-Lago. Trump got mad. Epstein kept doing it. Trump's wife got pissed. Trump's staff came to him. He kicked Epstein out of the club. This has been known for 15, 16, 17 years. I got all the articles, all the admissions, okay? Yeah, he knew Epstein. They did real estate stuff twice on record. It was in the local news. Epstein and Trump went and looked at properties, and they fought over who could buy this apartment complex, this house. So they had this falling out over him scooping girls out of the Mar-a-Lago, and they had this falling out over real estate deals, fighting with each other over houses, because that's what Trump really does. He's obsessed with not baseball cards, but pieces of property. And boy, was he right back then to be buying it all up. He went and bought Mar-a-Lago 40-something years ago when it was dead. Now it's the hottest real estate in the world, that whole area. So they're like, oh, and so the emails are like, oh, he was with Epstein. And you go look, it's a house they were buying or whatever, So, that Trump was fighting him to get. So Trump came out and said Democrats were trying to bring up the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Now, see, you just say, the Jeffrey Epstein's not a hoax. You mean the hoax that you're involved. See, he never does the subtlety because they'll do anything at all to deflect on how badly they've done on the shutdown. And so many other subjects. Only a very bad or stupid Republican would fall in the trap. The Democrats cost our country $1.5 trillion with their recent annex of viciously closing our country. All true. While at the same time, putting many at risk of plane crashes, you name it. And they should pay a fair price. There should be no deflections to Epstein or anything else, and any Republicans involved should be focused only on opening up our country and fixing mass damage caused by the Democrats. You should say, trying to connect me to Epstein, a very real case, is a hoax. But he did it again, folks. That's because he's not stupid. The CIA has gotten him to agree to cover it up. And that's wrong. Now, on the chain of guilt, he's down at the bottom now.
And I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. And I think he should expose it. Remember what I said? I said that, remember, when he got in the first time, he could have went after Hillary Clinton. And the reason he didn't was because he had some form of integrity and said that he didn't want to go after the former president's wife. And they still went after him. That's why I don't see why he ain't exposing people. But it's obviously people that's close to him or he knows or something on why he's not exposing it. But he did say, to his defense, he did say that there's people like Brian Maxwell said that basically had nothing to do with it, but might have had ties to Jeffrey Epstein that are going to be in these files or whatever. So that's why he said put out credible files. But me personally, I think this is hurting him, and it's really hurting him because he shouldn't have never even said he would drop the files. That's the thing that's hurting him the most, to be honest with you, is you said you was going to drop them, and now you're trying to go back on it. When you should have just dropped it. Fuck them. You're not in it, so why care, to be honest?
But he wasn't involved before. Now he's in the compendium, and it's a big strike for me on Trump. I get he's the president, has a lot of big decisions, but I in my own life have had to make decisions where I don't compromise on what's right and wrong. Now, let's get into the meat and potatoes here. Jeffrey Epstein alleged in emails that Trump knew of his conduct. Well, it turns out we have the emails now, and this is the best they had. They say in a couple days, a week, they're going to release it all. The first thing they release is Epstein talking to the guy writing an anti-Trump book, Wolf. And it's, yeah, Trump was really mad. I was getting girls out of his club, and his wife was mad. Everybody else was mad at me. And so he dropped a dime on me. That's what the emails say. I'll show them to you. But when you read Drudge Report or watch CNN, it's, Epstein emails claim Trump knew about the girls, spent hours with the victim. Well, yeah, they worked at Mar-a-Lago, and the victim said Trump never did anything to him, and the other victims said that, and out of the hundreds, only 2 were ever at Mar-a-Lago. But you read these headlines, you think he's totally guilty. And then here are the emails. And here's the people spinning it. Oh, so basically, Michael Wolff knew that Trump was a pedophile. That's not been said here. See, that's the left. The whole time was helping Jeffrey Epstein strategize how to capitalize on it, which means Michael Wolff is just as guilty as the rest of them. Then you read this, he's talking to Epstein, and he's like, no, Trump wasn't involved. No, Trump knew I was scooping girls out. That's why he came after me. But he knew. Okay. All right. We already know this. Read Jeffrey Epstein's newly released emails about Trump. So they're acting like this is this huge deal. But when you read into the articles and you read the actual quotes of people, they're all saying Trump's completely innocent because they don't want to get sued and they know it's not true. But the headline, look, did Donald Trump inform on Jeffrey Epstein? This is from years ago. And you got Wolf saying it, you got Epstein saying it. That's when they had the falling out. Trump banned Jeffrey Epstein from Mar-a-Lago for hitting on a girl. That's 2020. And you can read the lawyers and the women and all of them saying, no, they were never alone with Trump. But it doesn't matter because the headline says that, Trump is basically screwing kids. Republicans face Jeffrey Epstein reckoning as end of shutdown looms. And now it's out, and they release the best thing they've got, and it's nothing. I'm going to come back with some key clips and more on this. I just showed you all the exhibits. Go read it for yourself. Here's Brett Edwards, one of the main attorneys for Epstein abuse survivors, including Giuffre and others, saying, no, only Trump over a decade ago helped them when nobody else would. It was Trump originally blew the whistle.
All right, listen to this.
Yeah, I said this before because I seen this clip of the lawyer, and I believe he's a lawyer of the victim saying that Trump actually helped him. He actually had a deposition or something where, and Trump basically called and said, however much time you need or whatever, they came and spoke with Trump, and he was helpful. He actually helped them basically with getting Jeffrey Epstein.
This is really powerful. So this is the lawyer of the Epstein victims, not Epstein's lawyer, of the victims. And he's going to say, Trump was helping us to take down Jeffrey Epstein. These emails that have put out, they don't implicate him in any way. As Alex Jones just said, they're literally hoping that you will only read the headline, associate Trump with being a pervert, and you will move on with your life. But what these emails actually show is that Jeffrey Epstein and Michael Wolff were game planning how to blackmail him with material that he would maybe want to cover up. But he doesn't want to cover it up because he knows he's innocent, and that Epstein was most likely some kind of intelligence asset. All right, listen to what the lawyer had to say.
Which makes it even more sick now that he's the one calling all the hoax and saying shut it down, because the deals have been made behind the scenes with the deep state, I believe. But it is Trump that banned him from Mar-a-Lago. So that's just the reality. Here's a clip.
One more question on that document, and this goes to the more salacious rumors, but I would like you to just, whatever you can say on it. Obviously, our current president has had relationships with Epstein in the past, and there are those, Katie Johnson and maybe other victims who accuse Trump of being involved in things like this. In my experience, Trump supporters will not listen to anything along those lines. Obviously, we're not a court of law here right now, but are those claims, though that case was dropped, it was dropped before it went to court, in your opinion, as a lawyer and your experience, is there anything you can say as to the validity of those claims, or whether or not there will be any more about that?
Nothing at all. The only thing that I can say about President Trump is that he is the only person who, in 2009, when I served a lot of subpoenas on a lot of people, or at least gave notice to some pretty connected people that I wanted to talk to them, he is the only person who picked up the phone and said, let's just talk. I'll give you as much time as you want. I'll tell you what you need to know, and was very helpful in the information that he gave, and gave no indication whatsoever that he was involved in anything untoward whatsoever, but had good information that checked out and that helped us, and that we didn't have to take a deposition of him.
So he said Trump was the only one. He was the only one that he served subpoenas to who agreed to speak with him, also was very helpful, gave him information that he also said checked out. So it wasn't just bullshit that he was giving him. He gave him valuable information that was helpful, and the information that he gave him checked out. And he was the only one to actually give him time and speak and whatnot. Bro, these people, listen, bro, only thing they care about is the perception. They want the perception of Donald Trump to be bad. So when, these elections come around, people vote Democrat. That's it. They don't want you to vote Republican, and that's why they do all of these things. Why do you think even when Trump's administration was being picked and all of that, they kept bringing out all of these allegations that had no merit whatsoever, but they did not care. They didn't want these people to be in his administration because they know that these are serious people. Like, I was mad that Matt Gaetz wasn't part of his administration, but I believe Matt Gaetz, he would have been very, 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 very valuable in Trump's administration because he is a straight shooter. He is another, I believe he once was an attorney, if I'm not mistaken, but I know he was in, I believe the Senate or the House, one of them, and he's definitely not, he's not one of them people that holds back anything. He even was exposing Israel. So it goes to show you, he got no picks. He's more of like an Alex Jones type. These people are, these people are crazy. They'll say anything, bro. Anything. They do not care.
2009?
That was in 2009. So,
do you know if there's any truth to James Patterson's claims that Trump kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago?
I've definitely heard that.
Yeah.
I definitely heard that. I don't know that it was Trump himself as opposed to a manager there.
Trump's club, so
yeah,
people credit him.
I've heard the rumor that Epstein was kicked out of there for allegedly trying to pick up somebody's daughter or something like that. But I think I did chase that down as far as I could and never was able to confirm it. But I heard it.
And Epstein told Wolf in the book, no, Trump kicked me out. Trump knew, and he kicked me out. But they just tell you Trump knew. See, that's that word game where they cut off the full meaning of it. There were a lot of fine people in Virginia at the rally, but not the KKK. They weren't fine people. Translated, Charlottesville, KKK are very fine people, Donald Trump. That's how they operate.
All right.
Yeah, man, shout out to Stephen Gardner. Shout out to Alex Jones. Yeah, they... Bro, they don't have anything, man. They're at this point, they're desperate for anything that they can say to manipulate the narrative. That's all it is, bro. I said, man, you control the news, you control the narrative. And these people control the narrative. And that's why half of the country hates Trump. Anything that is said positive about Trump, they go against it. It doesn't matter. But yeah, man, that's politics for you, though. Politics is a wicked sport. It's definitely a wicked sport, man. Seriously. But the main thing that Americans in general need to come together on is the corruption. Because at the end of the day, we fund the government. So when these wars happen, right, that Donald Trump is a president who's trying to stop the wars. You know what I mean? And we ultimately you pay for the wars. We pay for the wars that go on. You know, all the weapons that went to Ukraine, they were paid for by you. You know, same thing in the Middle East. So, you know, we need to worry about things that really matter, and we need to vote people in that have common sense. And that's just about it on that. Seriously, man, because we getting to a point where it's getting out of control, bro. It's getting out of control. I never thought in my lifetime that I would see a day where, you know, you asking people what a woman is, or you got a man, like, it's like regular now to walk into a store and see a man with a dress on and some heels and some nails, and like, it's crazy, bro. I'm just being honest, man. Like I said, bro, what you do in your is that's your business. But it's just crazy that, you know, even from just a regular standpoint, just asking people what a woman is, and they can't just be like, it's, you know, a woman is a woman, a man is a man. Like, you know, they have certain private parts, like simple shit. Like now it's like, you know, well, gender is it's a wide range of different, whatever, man. Whatever the fuck they be saying. It's just stupid shit. But that's America today, man. And this is why we know for a fact that the devil is real. You heard? But anyway, man, that's the show for today, man. It's your boy SL550. If you have found anything informative, drop a like. If you question anything that I say, you got a problem with it, comment down below and let me know. Also, hit that subscribe button. Help your boy on the road to monetization. Man, I'm trying to get monetized. Man, that fucking subscribe button. Stop playing. But yeah, man, also hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy drop a dope live video. This your boy SL550. This is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. Until next time, I'm out. Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
A poor man prayers,
every man bleeds.
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.